What's up, guys? Going to show you some of my kayak fishing areas. I'm gearing this video kind of keep it on the short side. I'm going to try to go through as fast as I can on most of them. Basically, I'm just going to show you where you can get out and go fishing around my area, where I usually go majority of the time. Um, Catch sac-a-lay. You can catch channel catfish, like right here. There's pretty channel cat. Catch bass. Catch bluegill. Bluegill is one of my favorite species to catch. I think there's no better tasting, harder fighting fishing per ounce than the bluegill. Uh, Sitting kayaks, sit-on kayaks. It's really about the same for these areas. Birds Runs on the campground is by False River. It's nice. $5 boat lunch right here. You can fish this area and go back towards the flats. Fish this area. Bluegills all up down this area right here. I'm sure they feed and throw a bunch of stuff out here to attract them. Moving on, Blackwater Conservation Area. Conservation Area. Basically, this place is a stock deeds. Wildlife and Fisheries do. It's got invasive lilies in it. It's kind of overgrown sometimes. The back one back here don't. They have wooden piers they built, very nice to fish. It's got bass and catfish, bluegills, nice little fishery back here. St. James Boat Launch, Blind River. This is a cool place. This Blind River goes over Airline Highway right here. You boat launch right here free, fish back here. You can fish down here, fish this way. Basically, this is good for brim and catfish. When the water's low, you can go underneath in 61 and come back this way and fish all back up in here. I've seen a lot of people do really good back up in there for sac-a-lay. Blind River is one of my favorite areas. This is up going towards like Springfield and all that, Killian. This is Black Lake Club right here. You can lunch here. She charges like $3. Fish canal, fish come out and fish out here. There's a bunch of piling poles out here, like telephone poles. I think they were going to build something out here. Probably never got it finished, but a bunch of bluegills and bass and catfish out here. This water is always that pretty black swamp water back here, no matter how dirty Chica Pen and stuff is out here. Basically, you come back down this way, right in this little area right up in here, there's lilies. You see all the little, well, you can't see it very well, but the lilies growth out here. This place is a little deep area right up here. You can get out here and you can fish the bottom with lures, especially like chartreuse or the atomic rooster, the pink and the yellow, and catch sac-a-lay out in the middle. And, you can usually get you a nice little mess of them. Come down here when the water's flowing through this channel right here, going from the Blind River out to Chinquapin and all that. You can catch bass up in here, and this place is pretty active with them. They're in here feeding. Great place to fish. Blood River, I like Blood River. You can lunch down here by Bupala's. There's a public landing right here. Fish out this way. You fish towards Tickfall back this way. I used to prefer Blood River because it's usually the water a little better, a little clearer. If you lunch down here, you got to watch it because Lizzie's Landing and the bar is all down here, and it usually is a bunch of goobers and jet skis and party boats out lunching right here from the public landing. Plus, if you don't want to paddle all this way, you don't mind paying a little money, you can come up here to Warsaw Marina, and she charges $3. And there's a nice little landing right here. You can lunch right here, and you come out, come this way, and you're right by the one of my favorite canals to fish out here. This, no matter how dirty it gets out here in Blood River, usually this canal is kind of somewhat clear back up in here, and the fish kind of stack up, especially bluegills, catfish. There's a sunken boat by right up in here area that's usually I know it's just tons of catfish underneath that boat. And you get back this way and you can fish. I've caught sac-a-lay, bluegills, and some nice bass back up in here. Come this way, you head towards Lizard Creek. I'll show you later. False River was really good back in the heyday. It's somewhat all right now. All the party people bought all the houses and camps and jet skied it to death basically. They let the river get too high and it killed most of the grass, and so the fish suffered. Back in the day, you used to catch striped bass and big old bass, and You know, me and my brother used to fish at Gunball Tournament by Bun Adventures and Point Breeze. They've redug the this is shell flats, this is the grass flats. They've redug these and reshelled them, Wildlife and Fisheries, and I've heard they restocked it with a bunch of sac-a-lait and bass and bluegills. I usually do pretty good on bluegills. I usually come down 413 right here and lunch at LA Express. You can buy crickets and bait and stuff right here, $5 lunch. And I usually fish the island. This is the island side. This is the New Rose side. Fish the island side right on this stretch and do pretty good with bluegills. You basically just cast up underneath the piers, man, with your cricket and get up farther pier as much as you can and catch bluegills, and you will catch channel cat. Foster River is loaded with the big pretty silver channel cats. Amite River, this is the Virgin Canal. Further down, there's a public landing and also a hilltop landing. You can lunch, basically come down this way. It is a trek on a kayak. It's a good ways. You can come down this way, and there's Flat Lake. Flat Lake is a nice little place. You can come through here by Creative Cooking, come through the little channel right here and get back on Flat Lake. Bunch of lilies, decent water back here. Is usually somewhat clearer and cleaner than the Amite. You can get into these little schools of bass, and it's probably range from like 10 inches to like 13 inches, and it'll be like 50 of them per school. Long time ago, back in 2000, I think 11, 2013, probably 2010, 2011. There was a hurricane came through that killed a lot of our fish in Amite River. I mean, just slaughtered them. You couldn't even hardly catch a fish in Amite River. They've rebounded. The bass is definitely rebounded because it's almost like a overpopulation thing with all these little bass. But a couple videos of mine showing me catching bass and just one after another after another after another. And there's no limit on it, so you can fill up ice chest full of them. If they're not biting in Flat Lake, you can come back this way. You come around, and there's a little channel. Usually it's about 2 to 3 feet by 8 feet across, and you come across, and it comes through here, and it comes out right about here by the pole, right? You get back here in Old Lake Martin, and Old Lake Martin is usually somewhat clean too, the water. And this place stacks up with bluegills, bass, and sac-a-lait. I know an old guy that comes back here and fishes for sac-a-lait, and he's showing me pictures. Gets back there with shiners and fish next to the trees. And he does pretty good. So that's a good place. Don't forget about your break part. Some break parts you can launch kayaks, and majority of them you can't. Forest Community is a nice one. They stock it with bass and bluegills. It's got some nice carp. If you're into carp fishing, you got to put the carp back. Doing wintertime, doing December and January, Breck and Wildlife and Fisheries stock it with rainbow trout, which is fun to get out and catch. Got to catch them before it gets warm because they'll die. Gray's Creek. Bunch of my videos on Gray Creek fishing. Gray's Creek is only about 15-20 minutes from my house, which is nice, so I can get out here all the time. Your Bayside Marina, you can lunch right here for $5. He's got a little camp right here that sells bait and tackle refreshments. Evidently, I talked to his wife, and his wife said that he's going to build kayak ramps and start renting kayaks, which is going to be nice. He built a brand new floating pier, which is nice. So you can lunch here, fish it right up in here. It's really good for catfish and bluegills. If you come back this way, like in my videos, you can fish this channel right here, right? This canal. This canal leads out to Gray's Creek, but see how the water is different? It's usually a little more cleaner back here, and usually the bluegills, man, you can get back here with a topwater popper and just catch bluegills till you're sick of it. Get out here in Gray's Creek, follow Gray's Creek. Gray's Creek has got some big buffalo, some big gar, carp, nice for fishing. So that's one area. Moving on, Greenwood Community Camp is pretty good. I mean, park, you can get out here. This place you can bring your kayak. You can also rent a kayak. They got bass, sac-a-lait, bluegills. I've done pretty good out here before. Nice place, beautiful scenery. Get out, walk around, especially kayaking. It's nice. Probably my favorite all-time place is Henderson Swamp. Henderson Swamp is loaded with fish. It's also loaded with gators. So if you're going to kayak out here, you got to get over your fear of gators. Gators attack kayakers in the movies, but not in real life. So you can get out here. You can lunch at the public landing. You can fish all this way, and it's pretty dark water. It's nice. This place is loaded with fish. They got the place right here. You go a little bit further down. These are called the pylons. This is nice. Usually the pylons is metal poles with a sign, and you can catch sac-a-lait in that area. The water's been so high you can't really hardly see them. If you come all the way down, you get off at the Lafayette exit. You take a left, go through roundabout, and there's an Exxon station right there that I usually buy all my cricket stuff from. You take a left from there and follow back. You come down this road right here that leads to the Henderson Levee. There's Kearns Landing right here. Kayaks pay $2, boats pay $4. You can fish this canal right here and catch fish. You can also come down this two canals right here. All these little trees out here, this is the boulevard. You can get out here and catch, when you catch the water right, you can just catch bluegills till you're sick of it. This is also a great place too in July and August for gar. Gar's out here, man. You get out here and catch some nice sized gar, bluegills, bass. This place is really good bassery fishing. Very nice. Moving on. If you go towards Henderson and it's muddy and you don't like it, it's messed up, you can go further down by another 20 minutes and reach Lake Martin in Lafayette. This is a closed body water. I've seen people catch fish here, bass, sac-a-lait, bluegills. I've never done too great here, but yeah, this is another place. So if you're into gators, man, you can go look. There's a ton of gators. Lizard Creek's nice. It's right above Tickfall State Park to the right. Here's a campground. $3 boat lunch free right here. It's actually, she has a covered boat lunch, which is nice. You can lunch here, fish back this way. You can come back this way and fish. It's nice. It's bluegills, gar, shoe pick, sac-a-lait. If you go further down, you'll run into Blood River. Palomino State Park. This is nice. They load it with bluegills and bass and get out here and practice your fly rod and stuff like that. Can't put a kayak in, but it's a good little fishery. This is a closer image of Tickfall at Bupala's bar. There's a public landing. Like I said, you can lunch here, fish back this way. I avoid this area because of the bars. I usually come back this way or fish around this point right up in here. I've heard people catching sac-a-lait out here, so I've never seen nobody, but the boat traffic's been too bad. Bayou Barbary. Bayou Barbary is by Kikilian or by Springfield. Basically, you can go down 444 and get here. There's a little building right here. The guy sells bait and refreshments and stuff like that. $5 boat fee. There's a landing. Lunch here. You can fish back this way or fish this canal over here. If you fish all the way down this canal, it leads out to the Amy. This place has got bluegill, it's got bass, it's got shoe pick. Tell you what, man, you ain't had a blast until you catch a shoe pick on a fly rod, because you think a redfish fights and try to catch like a 3 or 4 pound shoe pick on a fly rod, especially a 5-weight. Fun. Moving on. This is Port Manchac. This is nice. You can lunch at public landing, fish back here, fish this canal, fish down I-55. I do not recommend going out like Marpole. The wind gets too bad, dangerous. Charbonnet Wildlife Management, down 190. Basically, you can lunch in Big Alabama and fish, good for bass and bluegills, gar, catfish. I prefer Little Alabama, which is this one right here. The water is usually cleaner, it's closed off. This place is really good for bass fishing. A bunch of videos of people catching bass out of kayaks in here. Right here is is like a little landing, so you can come down here, landing. This is how you get to it and come and fish all that way. Very nice. Old River was really good back in the heyday. I still hear good stuff about it. I hardly make it out to Old River. I need to make a trip soon. Here's a boat landing right up in here. You can fish this way. You can fish back that way. Old River has a bunch of big blue. Some of the biggest bluegills I ever caught was out of Old River, especially sac-a-lait. Fish down this way, right down here, and right up in here. There's a bunch of dead trees in the water. Really good for sac-a-lait. Lake Verret. Lake Verret is definitely one of the better places to fish, man. This place is just loaded, but it's dangerous. You can lunch at a taco paw down here, fish the shoreline, do really good for catfish and bluegills and bass. There's a public landing around over here. You can lunch and do really good. This place, I recommend whatever side you launch on, you fish that side, unless you got a Hobie or a really stable kayak. Cut across, and then you have Crackerhead Canals over here, which is really good. People can do really good. I've done videos. It used to be an old friend of mine. We used to caught a bunch of fish up in here. Really good fishing for sac-a-lait and bass and bluegills. Verret's dangerous. Like I said, you gotta watch it. This river lake is only 3 to 5 foot deep in most areas. Right, that's bad when the wind picks up. So if you try to cross this river in a storm, you're going to hit 6 or 7 foot waves. I've seen bass boats back when I was younger flip in this river because people we're stupid enough trying to cross this river in a storm. If a storm comes, you wait and ride it out and then cross when it's over. Be smart. Always wear your life vest. A bunch of people's died in this river. Um, University Lakes. If you're in Baton Rouge area and you want to get out and fish and just maybe have a good time and kayak and stuff like that, LSU Lakes is it. You can lunch down here in Milford. There's a public landing right here. Lunch, fish out here, kayak around. I do not recommend eating any fish out of these lakes. A long time ago, a sewage pipe bust in these lakes, and the E. coli count was like ungodly. So you can get out here and fish. There is bluegills, there is bass, there is catfish, there is carp. I just wouldn't eat anything. Breck and Baton Rouge Paddle always have events. Breck has like this cool where they have midnight paddles. They also have like they put like a little screen on a kayak and they have movie nights and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So it's something to check out. Sherwood Forest and Hatter Park, they redid and redug their pond, so it's nice. I don't think you can kayak in it. So basically, this is my favorite. Waddell Wildlife Management. This is their catfish and brim pond. This is their bass pond. I've seen pictures of, I've caught decent little bass and seen people catch up to 3-pound bass out of here. They have a pellet gun range, they have an archery range, they have a 3D archery range. They used to have a skeet building. I don't know if it's there anymore. If you go further back this way, you run into Amite River, and you can get back there and walk and fish. It's nice when you get the water low. Anyway, that's majority of my places. I usually go around here. I do saltwater fishing every now and then. I'll make a video on that. I also trying to make a video on some other places going to like North Shore, Bayou Lacombe, and Bayou Cane, and Tangipahoa, and all that. If anybody has any places they know where they can kayak lunch on like Bayou Saul or Chafalaya or Bayou Ramey, I'd be interested in hearing that or seeing some. If you can do some satellite pics where you usually lunch or Google pics, I'd be interested in share something if you know it. Nobody's looking for your secret fishing spot. Just if you got some places where people can kayak lunch and help out a little bit, let me know what you know.